Hold on to my voice. He is standing over you. He thinks he is one. And just as sure as he is a coward, he will try to kick you. But you'll know what he will do, and you will smile inside. Today I'm going to do my movie analysis on a movie that I've seen many times. I personally own it, and it is one of my favorite movies. This is the movie Enough. The movie Enough stars Jennifer Lopez and was directed by Michael Apted and came out by Columbia Pictures in the year 2002. This movie is powerful and moving. It is about a young woman marrying a man, and a few years into her marriage, she realizes the man is not the man she once fell in love with, and she finds herself and her small child tangled in a very violent domestic violence situation. Today I'm going to briefly introduce you guys to Robert Ricci's Cultural Parables and the two premises that make this movie persuasive, which are both from his Cultural Parables, which are the benevolent community and the triumphant individual. Ricci's Cultural Parables were founded by a man named Robert Ricci and his colleagues from Harvard University. They are a list of stories reflecting real-life situations. According to our textbook, these parables convey lessons about the how and why of life through metaphors. Our first premises that makes this movie persuasive is the benevolent community. The benevolent community includes people's willingness to help despite dangerous outcomes and willing to put themselves in situations to help others. Our first link that we have, which is a video clip from the movie Enough, demonstrates how we're going to have difficulties with that, so I'll describe the scene. And in the scene is our main character, whose name is Slim. It is her friends Jeannie and Phil and another friend of theirs. They come to her house in the middle of the night, and she is attempting to sneak out with her small child and get away from her husband. And in the process of doing that, they have to break in to get into the house because they hear Slim and her husband fighting. And you see that her friends just have no problem putting themselves in imminent danger, and they have no problem coming in despite her husband having a gun pulled on them and even shooting at them in order to help Slim and her small child escape at that moment. Our second premises that makes the movie Enough persuasive is the triumphant individual, which is overcoming adversity. The triumphant individual is a person who is willing to work hard, take risks, and has unending faith in his or herself. And we will attempt to open the second link, and we'll see if my second video clip will show. If not, I will just describe it to you guys. This is what we take these classes for, to deal with technical difficulties. The triumphant individual, Slim demonstrates several times throughout the movie of herself trying to become a triumphant individual. One time is when she moves to Minnesota and her estranged father helps her purchase a house. And she booby traps this house, and she attempts to make this house foolproof and safe in case anybody comes looking for her and her daughter. She also takes good time and effort into training her daughter, to making sure that her daughter knows not to talk to strangers, not to tell anybody about their past or their history. They basically have, in a sense, put themselves in like a form of a witness protection. And it wasn't done professionally, but it was done like in an underground help through domestic violence agencies, and they've changed their names and everything. And after doing all of that, she realizes that it's not going to work. Her husband still finds a way to find them, and he sends some men after her. And she realizes that if she wants to really ultimately become a triumphant individual, she needs to quit running, she needs to quit hiding, and she needs to stop, and she needs to stand her ground, and she ultimately needs to learn how to fight back. And in the process of fighting back, she hires a self-defense trainer who teaches her self-defense arts of Krav Maga, and she then returns home to Los Angeles, and she entraps Mitch, and she tricks him into coming to the house and thinking he's going to get her, and then he, at that point, she fights back. She does her ultimate one last stand with him, and that was what our second link was an awesome video of her actually fighting back, and the scene ultimately ends with him falling over the stairs and falling down and falling to his death. So in closing, I've introduced briefly with you guys Robert Ricci, who has, with his coworkers from from Harvard University, came up with the Cultural Parables, which are a list of parables reflecting real-life situations. We also went over the benevolent community, which is the willingness to help others despite risks and dangers. and the triumphant individual, which is the hard worker, faith and success, and overcoming great hardships.